Hey guys, let's get into our week 2 recap. Starting at the top, I am now 0-2 as Carter blew me away. Guess that'll happen when you have Lamar going for 26, Javante going for 25, Malik and Neighbors absolutely crushing my soul, and, you know, a good display by the kicker and defense, 157 points. Is a boatload, I think the most this season. I messed up by starting JJ McCarthy, who was unproven. I was just excited and felt slightly disappointed with Jordan Love's week 1, so I kept him on my bench. I also traded away Tucker Craft, who put up a lot in my tight end slot. Still believe that I'd rather have Warren moving forward for the rest of the season, but it definitely was kind of a crappy way to start my Thursday. James Cook's looking good for me. Also making my second trade of the season now with Carson. We're doing Herbert for Ibuka straight up. He came to me asking for a quarterback. He said, "Who do you want?" And that's how the deal got arranged. He's losing Joe Burrow for the remainder of the season. So, anyway, good game, Carter. Um, my poor start sit decisions really didn't matter anyway. Moving on to Tito and Ivan. Tito ended up taking the dub, even though Josh Allen didn't do that much for him. He's going to have to figure out what he's doing for his RB2. Um, Dylan Sampson sitting there for him to play. Probably not going to plug in Robinson. And Ivan's team didn't do too bad. 110 could be enough to win against somebody, but kind of how it goes with the matchup. You got kind of boned there. Genty's off to a bad start for him. T. Higgins might not be as good without Burrow. And I respect the Chig Okonkwo play. Kyle beat Pierce by 16. Another one of those games Pierce could have won depending on matchup. Kyle ended up with 126. Achan looks to be his star player this week. With really good kicker and defense this week. Khalil Shakir didn't do enough for Pierce, and other than that, there wasn't too many disappointments on the roster. Maybe Broncos defense and Brock Bowers let him down a bit, but pretty overall solid overall. 2-0 for Kyle, 1-1 for Pierce. Hayden is now 0-2. I'll talk about him in a matchup with me later. Anna did just enough to secure the victory. She's now 2-0. She had a lackluster performance from Hertz, but Jonathan Taylor carried her. CeeDee Lamb had a great game, and man, it's a wonder to even see how she got to 108. But I guess Taylor and Lamb and everybody else didn't completely dud, but not that many good performances. We look across the way. 13 from your defense and 10 for your kicker is outstanding. Mark Andrews did horrible. He's probably not going to be started next week. And disappointing weeks from Brees Hall and Brian Thomas Jr. Either one of them, does anything substantial. Aiden's probably walking away 1-1 after this week. Guiley barely lost to Chris. It was a tight one, Monday night matchup. Maybe Guiley rushed to put in Fields a little sooner than he should have, but I would have done the same thing after a 30-point week 1. Jamar Chase carried Matthew, and defense also put up big points. Chris had a great Thursday night with Commanders, and that got carried by wide receiver one on the week, Amon Ra. Down to our last matchup, we'll check out Evan starting off 2-0. Surprise, surprise, against Carson, who is now 1-1. Carson needs a new QB, which is why he's traded me. Evan might be out Jaden Daniels this week as well, actually. But sensational performances from Barkley and Robinson in the head-to-head matchup there. Can't be disappointed in either of those scores. Looks like Sam Laporta and Ingram, the crappy matchup down there. And Waddle finally did something, which is exciting, considering the Dolphins' offense looked completely ruined after week one. So good to see Waddle doing something there. Evan takes Carson out in week 2. The league standings: Evan sits atop at 2-0, and the highest score. Second is Carter. Third, Anna. Kyle is in fourth at 2-0. Moving on to our 1-1 teams, we have Chris with the highest score for 1-1. Pierce 1-1, coming in at 6. So if the playoffs started right now, this would be our top 6. Tito at 7, Carson at 8. I am coming in at 9 after an awful week 2, where I got just killed by Carter and also didn't put up many points. So that is not good for me. But lucky for me, I am only in 9th. Ivan is in 10th. Matthew's in 11th. Hayden coming in with under 100 points a game at 12. Let's look at our week 3 matchups. Right away, I will be facing Hayden. We are both 0-2. Neither one of us, I promise you, want to drop to 0-3. So this is a big matchup for the current bottom of the league. Guess we can look at the head-to-head a tiny bit. Nothing jumping out at me like crazy. Hopefully Brian Thomas doesn't choose this week for his comeback. And instead of Judy right here, I am planning to suit up Egbuka instead. Juwan Johnson, a great waiver wire pickup. I'm actually a big fan of Hayden's team. I don't really see any holes in it. Just gonna come down to who performs best. 2-0 Kyle versus 0-2 Ivan. Anyone's game is how I'm gonna look at it. Aaron Jones did horrible last week, and Ashton Genty did equally as bad. So just kind of depends on who's gonna get lucky, and if Kyle keeps Tyron Tracy in, I'm interested to see how he would do against Kansas City on Sunday night. Tito and Pierce, the 1-1 versus 1-1 team. Josh Allen, gotta love that. I'll give the advantage to Tito in the quarterback category. If Kenneth Walker continues to have a good week, just like last week, I would give Pierce the slight advantage at running back, although McCaffrey is the best player in this matchup. And a big edge to Pierce with Bowers over TJ Hawkinson. 2-0 versus 2-0. This will be the battle for the top of the league. Unless there's a different 2-0 team that can win this week and become 3-0 and have the highest score, the winner of this game will likely be at top of the league. 2 super good quarterbacks in this matchup, as well as a good running back on either side. Superstar receivers in this matchup, and tight ends that you can't really say for sure what is going to happen between Kelsey and the rookie Fannin. Looks like both teams have good defenses, and gotta love this Buffalo matchup against Miami. because Miami isn't that good of a team this year. And last week, the Bills absolutely destroyed the Jets. So I think if you're a bad team, the Bills are going to take care of you. The last matchup, second to last, we got Carson, Chris, 1-1s. Carson will be starting Justin Herbert in the slot. So I think that's pretty equal. Mayfield and Herbert. Hampton's going to have to do something more this week. Otherwise, Chris is going to start losing his mind even more than he already has. And he'll have to sit Hampton down on the bench. Hopefully, he doesn't have to do that. Kyron's a great floor play. Tyreek actually did decent this past week, which was encouraging. Chris Olave, I did not know, is sneaking into that starting lineup. Let's take a look. Not bad at all. 10 targets and 13 targets. Looks like he's establishing a good floor as of right now. Laporta versus Ertz. I like Ertz better for the floor play, but the floor play, not the foreplay. Let's not lose our marbles here. But Laporta's probably got a higher ceiling. Anyone's game. Last one. 2-0 versus 0-2. Bo Nix and Jane Daniels. We'll see if Daniels plays. Otherwise, I'm liking the look of Evans' first four. But I'm also liking Guiley's. Dobbins is playing great. Bucky Irving's playing great. See what Chase can do with Browning next week. And pretty boring matchup at the tight end position. All right, that's going to do it for the recap week 2 and the preview for week 3. Once again, here are standings. Congrats to the 2-0 teams, and even congrats to the 1-1 teams. Must be nice. Guess I'm gonna have to be a little bit more humble on these, considering I'm getting my eyes kicked in. But hopefully, you guys are having a good season, and I will see you guys next week for the week 3 recap and preview.